Friends, imagine the forest spread over thousands of kilometers. And in these forests, there are places where humans have not even set foot. And if you are left to do duty in such places, that too all alone, then you not only have to face all the scary things that happen in these forests, but also have to save the people who come to visit the forest by controlling your fear. Then will you be able to do this job? Friends, I am your host, Sonu, and today I have brought for you 3 very interesting true stories of search and rescue related to forests. So listen to them yourself and also share them with your friends and get lost in the depths of these forests. I have been working as a search and rescue officer in a very big forest for the last 5 years. In these 5 years, I have faced many accidents. I have been injured and I have also seen people dying in front of my eyes. But one day last year, I was not at all prepared for what happened to me. That too was a completely normal day like other days. Early in the morning, I received a message. That message was sent by a hike group. Those people had come to the forest for hiking and had forgotten the way, and this signal was sent from a satellite phone, which was a bit strange in itself because satellite phones are very expensive, and it was a group of young boys. Normally, it was very unusual for young boys to have such an expensive phone. The caller told that there were a total of 6 people in his group. Those people were deep inside the forest. We had come to the area for hiking. That area was very dense and there were many deep ravines there. He told that while going there, suddenly a strong storm came there, due to which they lost their way. Now they are wandering in the forest for the last several days without eating or drinking anything. The caller told that his clothes have become completely wet and he has nothing left to eat. But not only this, he seemed very nervous. He was out of breath on the call. He told that someone is hunting them in the forest and they are running to save their lives. I asked who is hunting you. He said maybe it is a group of some kind of animals. I said, don't worry, we will reach soon to help you. Now let me tell you that this was not the first time when a lost person told us that someone is chasing them in the forest. Normally when someone gets lost in the forest, due to darkness and loneliness, our mind starts playing games with us. We feel that someone is behind us. Someone is watching us. Of course there is someone there. Even then we feel so this time also I thought that maybe due to hunger, thirst and tiredness, these boys might have started losing their senses. But whatever it was, we had to find them and take them out of the forest safely. I called the base and gathered 4 more rangers and formed a team. The place from where those signals had come was about 60 kilometers away from there. But still I was sure that we would find them by noon because it was not possible to go that far on foot, so we were given a search helicopter. We quickly put all our gear in that helicopter and started going towards that direction. Now what happened was that after reaching that area, we had to look for a plain place to land the helicopter. But after reaching there, we saw that the whole area was surrounded by a strange fog, due to which it was that both the teams will constantly be in touch with each other through radio phone. Till now, everything was normal, just routine work. My senior and a very good friend of mine, Jack, was with me. Jack was a very old forest ranger. In fact, when I had joined here, Jack had trained me. So we started following those signals and headed towards the east. We had a GPS device, a compass, and a map, but the fog was so thick that it was very difficult to see even 5 feet away. We were just moving ahead, relying on our training and our experience of the forest. We kept walking in that fog for about an hour, but we could not find any trace of those hikers. The further we went, the thicker the fog became. A strange heaviness was felt in the air as well. Both of us were not saying this out loud, but our restlessness was increasing. I don't know about Jack, but a strange fear was coming in my heart, as if there was something very wrong at this place, as if we had to leave this place right now. I should have left, but I was trying to focus on my mission by removing all these thoughts from my mind. I was repeatedly reminding myself that it was very important to find those people. Their life and death were only on our shoulders. Now, after some time, we reached a place where those radio signals were the strongest. That means that the radio call was definitely made from that place. But the strange thing was that there was nothing at that place except trees and big stones. Those boys were not there. We also called out to them, but it was of no use. Now both of us were getting frustrated. We both decided to search separately, but we had made it clear that we will not go too far from each other and will keep calling each other in between so that we remain nearby. Now I alone slowly started going among those dense trees. I was thinking that maybe their satellite phone has fallen somewhere, and that is why they are not able to talk to us. So while going ahead, I was also looking at the ground below, but I did not find anything different anywhere. Everything, it was normal. But then I must have hardly gone 20 steps away when suddenly I started feeling very scared. A strange shiver ran through my whole body. It seemed as if someone was watching me, but there was no one there. On top of that, there was a thick fog. I was moving ahead, ignoring everything, but I knew that something was going to happen, and then I saw something in front of me. It was a tent, or should I say the debris of the tent. It seemed as if someone had torn the tent badly. There were broken pieces of the tent, and the stuff kept inside, lying all around. But there was no body there. There was no blood. There was nothing that could scare me. And then I saw him standing behind the tent between the trees. He must have been 5 or 6 feet tall. He had big yellow eyes and big hair all over his body. His hands were exactly like humans, but his nails were very big. I am able to say with certainty that his hands were like humans because I had looked at his hand carefully. He was standing behind the tree and was holding the tree in front with one hand. 4 fingers holding it, and a little gap in the middle, and then a thumb just like humans have. It seemed as if a wolf was standing on 2 legs, but I don't think it was a werewolf. I mean, it was not a werewolf like I had heard in stories till now. But whatever it was very dangerous. I slowly started moving back and took out my radio phone. I wanted to call Jack and tell him that I have seen something here. But before pressing the radio button, I heard Jack's loud scream. On hearing his scream, I came out of my fear and started running towards Jack's voice. I was running with all my might. Passing through bushes and stones, he was not very far from me, but still at that moment it seemed as if he was very far. Then after 30-40 seconds when I reached him, he was standing at the foot of a hill. I was about to tell him about that animal, but before I could speak, he started telling me that he had seen a strange animal. He had just said this when we heard a strange sound from the bushes behind. Now let me tell you that while working in the forest, we have heard the sound of many animals, but that sound was different from all others. We had never heard such a sound before. The sound was like the sound of a bear and a human laughing together. We quickly looked in that direction, but we did not see any animal there. But I knew that it was there. Jack said, "Run away from here." And as soon as he said this, we both ran away from there and reached the same place from where we all had split into 2 teams. After reaching there, I asked Jack, "What was all this?" He said, "I do not know." I told him that I found the tent of those hikers and pieces of their belongings lying inside, but there was no blood or body there. But I also saw a strange animal behind the tent. I asked him. He asked if it looked like a werewolf. I said yes. Jack told me that he too had seen that animal, but Jack was very far from me at that time. Could it be that there were more than one animal? Now we were standing there and talking about all this when the same growling and laughing sounds started coming from behind again. But this time there were many such sounds, as if there was not one, but many. The growling sounds were echoing all around. Both of us started running from there without saying a word and did not stop until we reached our helicopter. When we reached there, we saw that the people of the other team had already reached there and were standing there gasping. As soon as I saw them, I understood why they were gasping. The pilot was already sitting inside the helicopter. We all quickly started boarding the helicopter. While boarding the helicopter, I looked back again, and I swear I saw at least 40 glowing eyes. I will never forget that scene in my life. Luckily, they did not follow us. There was a dense fog inside the forest. While going back to the base, we were discussing what we should tell next. A ranger said that we will tell everyone the truth about whatever happened, but would our officers believe us? What would we tell them that a whole group of werewolves chased us out of the forest? Who would believe such a thing? If any unnecessary inquiry is done, we will have to come to this human place again. Finally, we decided that we will not tell anyone anything. We never found out about those 6 hikers. I still work in this forest, but after that day, I never went to that area of the forest again. I have been working as a search and rescue ranger in a very big forest of our state for the last 15 years, so I am well aware of every area of this forest. Most of the people who come to visit this forest either come for camping or hiking, so we mostly get calls either from hikers who have lost their way or from campers whose camps have been damaged. Bears enter these forests. In many places, there are also mountain lions, wildcats, which are not very big but are very dangerous. And at night, many times these cats make such sounds as if a person is crying in great pain. Many campers call us at night to tell us that they are hearing someone crying loudly, so we tell them that there is nothing to worry about. These are the sounds of animals in the forest. This happens a lot. It is a routine part of our duty, but what I saw a few days ago, I had never heard of it before. So what happened was that one day I got a call from a hiker. He told me that while hiking, he heard someone screaming in pain in the forest. On hearing him, the first thing that came to my mind was that it must be a mountain lion. Anyway, it was their mating season, and they often make such sounds during this season. But that hiker was very nervous. The fear in his voice clearly showed that he had really heard a very scary sound. In the next 3-4 days, we received calls from many hikers and campers, one after the other. Everyone was telling that they had heard very terrifying, heart-wrenching sounds from the forest, and all these reports had come from around a particular hill. Some of these hikers were so scared that they ran away from there. Finally, it was decided to check that area, and the responsibility of this was given to me. Everyone had told that they had heard those sounds in the evening, so in the evening itself, I packed my gear in my Jeep. I put my Jeep in my pocket and left for that area to check. The day was getting dark, but it was not dark. Everything was normal. But while going to that place, I noticed a very strange thing. As I was reaching there, the sounds of the jungle were getting less and less. I mean, the normal sounds of the jungle, the movement of leaves, came to a point when everything became quiet. Pin drop silence. Silence in the jungle is not normal at all. It meant that there was a big predator or something very dangerous present there. Then after reaching a place, I stopped the Jeep and started walking ahead to check that area. I don't know why I was getting goosebumps while going ahead. I couldn't understand why this was happening. Now, I had gone a little far when I saw some twigs lying on the ground at one place. Those twigs were not lying there just like that, but were kept in a proper pattern as if someone had set them there with their hands and kept them there in a very clean and precise manner. I thought of making a radio call and informing that I had found something like this, but it was surprising that the radio was only making static sounds. This had never happened before. Not only this, my compass also started rotating in a strange manner. The compass needle was moving around like crazy. I was standing there trying to understand what was happening. It was getting dark fast, but how? Because according to me, it was still half an hour before it would get dark. Now I had barely gone 20 steps away to an open area when I saw a disc-shaped UFO flying in the air, just above the trees of the forest. It was about 300 feet above the ground, as big as a house, but had a very smooth, perfect round shape, just like liquid silver of that color. It was flying so easily in the air, as if it was floating in water, without making any sound. For a moment, I could not believe my eyes at what was I seeing. I had seen this only in films till date. I don't know for how long I kept looking at it with my mouth wide open, but then my eyes fell on the ground below the UFO. I saw that 5 mountain lions were lying on the ground in a line right under the UFO. All of them seemed to be adult mountain lions. Their stomachs were torn so cleanly as if they were cut with a laser. But there was no flesh hanging inside their cut stomachs, nor was there any blood. It seemed as if someone had done a surgery with great precision, cut their stomachs, removed all the flesh, etc., and then laid them there. But why would anyone do this? It could not have been the work of a wild animal because animals do not know how to do surgery. It was the work of someone else. Something that was probably not from this planet, but whoever did this, I had understood that he was very dangerous. If he could do this to those mountain lions, he could do it to me too. I took a step back in fear, but as soon as I did so, a very bright white light came out of that plane and passed through my body. I cannot tell you how bright that light was. I felt as if the sun had passed through me. I don't remember what happened after that, but when I opened my eyes, I was lying face down on the ground, right next to the bodies of those dead mountain lions. When I had seen them earlier, all 5 bodies were kept there in a line, but now all 5 were kept there in a circle, and I was lying right outside that circle. I tried to get up, but even after using all my strength, I was not able to stand up. I was feeling very tired, as if I had been wandering in the forest hungry and thirsty for who knows how many days. There were red patches on my skin at many places, like what happens after a burn. Those were not patches. Each patch had a different pattern, small different marks. Somehow I reached my tongue by falling down and then went to my base. On seeing me at the base, my boss sent me straight to ERIE, emergency medical treatment, but no doctor could understand what had happened to me. Even after doing all kinds of tests like MRI, CT scan, SN, blood test, it was not understood what those marks were of. The doctors told that such marks are made due to electric shock, but they were not random marks. They were made with full pressure in a controlled environment. After 3-4 days when I recovered, I again went to the same place with some of my colleagues where I had seen that UFO, but this time we did not see anything there. Neither did we see that UFO nor those mountain lions, and this time normal sounds of the jungle were also coming. Then after searching that area a bit, we found 3 out of 5 dead bodies, but there was no trace of the other 2 dead bodies. Meanwhile, someone spread the rumor that I have developed some mental problem, and that is why I'm talking about seeing UFOs. But I have been working alone in this jungle for the last 10 years. Until date, I have never faced any problem. I told my officer that if I am mad, then you tell me how these marks were made on my body. Even the doctors could not find out how these marks were made. I told the truth in my official statement too, but the jungle administration shelved that report and no further investigation was done. I also forgot this incident, thinking it to be a bad dream, and started doing my duty, but the marks on my skin are still present on my hands. For many days after this incident, whenever I closed my eyes to sleep at night, the same bright light would come in front of my eyes. It would seem as if I am falling in the air, but then slowly everything became normal. But even today, when I go on a mission in the jungle with my colleagues, they do not let me go far alone. They always make sure by calling out that I am near them, but I know that what I saw that day was not a hoax. I did not have a crazy attack. I am sure that I saw a UFO that evening, and the injury marks on my body were made by those aliens. My brother works in the smoke jumper unit of the United States Forest Service. That means when a forest fire breaks out, his job is to drop from a plane into the forest and extinguish the fire. You people probably cannot even imagine how dangerous a forest fire is, and their job is to jump right into the fire and extinguish it. And a small mistake in this work means dying by burning in the fire. So you can understand how strong-hearted these people must be. They are also given very good training for this work. Now, I will not tell the name of the forest where all this happened, but he told that one day at exactly 5 hours in the morning, We were called for a mission in a forest of California. We were told that that fire was caused by lightning during a storm. This happens in the summer season. In the summer season, even a small spark in the forest takes the form of a very big fire. So at 5 o'clock, we got that message, and at 5.2 minutes, we all were seated in the plane, and at 6 o'clock, we reached that forest. First of all, one group jumped, then the other group. I was in the second group. As soon as I landed on the ground, I quickly packed my parachute. Due to the strong wind, the fire was spreading very fast. All of us started digging pits in the ground at a distance of 100 meters each so that the fire could be stopped from spreading from one side. Now I was digging the ground there when a person with me jumped. My friend called me and signaled me to come near him. I quickly went to him. As soon as I reached there, I started smelling a foul smell of meat, which was absolutely normal. When a forest catches fire, many animals die, but then he pointed me towards a tree. I looked towards that side and saw that a very big animal was stuck to a tree after getting burnt. At first I thought it was a bear, but then I looked through my binoculars and found out that it was not a bear. It had proper hands and legs just like humans have, but its mouth was not like a human's. Its mouth was like a dog's. That means the mouth was burnt, so it was not clearly visible, but it was clear that it was not a human's mouth, while its hands and legs were exactly like humans. It could not be a human because no human can come alone in the middle of the forest like this. That too in such weather. Whatever it was, it must have climbed that tree to escape from the fire, but could not escape. Well, we did not pay much attention then, but then after a few hours when our work was completed and the fire was stopped from one side, so we all started to leave from there. I had just moved forward to go to my friend when I heard the sound of someone jumping from the bushes on the side. The sound of something heavy jumping. I quickly looked in that direction and a very big animal came out from the bushes. It was 50 steps away from me. It was at least 8 feet tall. It was standing on 2 legs and was looking straight at me, and I was looking at it. I don't know what it was, but as soon as I saw it, I understood that it was definitely the same animal that we had seen burnt earlier. And then on seeing me, it let out a very heart-rending sound. Its eyes were red with anger, and it was looking at me as if it would tear me into pieces. I started trembling with fear. Just then a helicopter came above and started dropping anti-fire chemicals. As soon as the helicopter came, its attention was diverted from me for a few seconds. So I immediately ran from there and reached my friend and told him this. He said that it must be the companion of the same animal that we had seen burnt a few hours ago. I saw it happening. Then both of us left that place without wasting any time. The next day I told our officer about that burnt body. I told him that it was a very strange animal, but after listening to me, my officer started staring at me angrily and said, "Have you gone mad? It must be a bear." I did not tell him about seeing that other animal. I knew that he would not believe it. This whole incident was not that big. We must have seen each other for hardly 20 seconds. His face was like a German shepherd dog, but his hands and legs were like humans, and he was standing on 2 legs. I will never forget that 20-second encounter in my life. Really, I was lucky that day. Suddenly that helicopter came there, which distracted his attention. I just want to say this to all of you, that these forests are as dangerous as they look beautiful. We cannot even imagine what kind of devils live in the depths of these forests. If you like these stories, please like and subscribe to our channel. If you want to share your story, email us, the email ID shown in screen. Also comment how you feel.